The last note from the church organ lingered in the air like a ghost refusing to leave. Mourners filed out slowly, their footsteps muffled against the old stone floor of St. Jude's Chapel. At the front, Miles Thatcher stood alone, tall, elegant, dry-eyed. His tailored suit clung perfectly to his lean frame, the black silk tie a calculated touch of grief. Clara Thatcher's portrait rested beside a cascade of white lilies, the image of grace and generosity. To the community, she was a philanthropist. To Miles, she had become inconvenient. From the back pew, Sophie Lane watched in silence, her presence careful and hidden. Their eyes met briefly. No smile, no nod, but a history passed between them. The funeral was over. The mask was perfect, and in just 1 hour, Miles would be richer, freer, and finally done. Or so he thought. Miles accepted condolences with the finesse of a man who had rehearsed every expression. His handshake was firm but humble, his voice low, his eyes slightly downcast, but never reserved. Grief, he had discovered, was easiest when it was curated. She was exceptional, murmured Mrs. Langford, the mayor's wife, dabbing her eyes with a lace handkerchief. Miles offered a faint smile. She truly was. He didn't flinch when people brought up Clara's charity work, or how she always remembered birthdays, or how she never missed a town hall meeting. Let them talk, let them grieve, let them believe. Because in Miles's version of Clara, she had become distant, distracted, a woman too absorbed in other people's causes to notice the silence growing in their home. He hadn't missed her warmth when it faded. He had simply replaced it. Outside, the wind picked up. A few petals drifted from a floral wreath and scattered across the church steps. Miles noticed a camera mounted above the entrance. Small, discreet. He looked away quickly. Then a voice from behind, "Mr. Thatcher?" He turned. A tall woman in a grey trench coat approached, her badge flashing briefly beneath her lapel. Detective Dana Brooks. She had been present the night Clara died. Just another quiet official in a house full of sirens. "I won't keep you long," she said. "Just a few clarifications, standard follow-up." Miles gave a weary nod. Of course. He followed her to the side of the chapel, hands tucked in his pockets, heart steady, too steady. From the corner of his eye, Miles saw her. Sophie Lane stood half-hidden beneath the arched doorway, her black dress simple yet perfectly cut, her golden hair pinned in a quiet knot. She looked like any other mourner, respectful, silent, distant. But Miles knew better. 3 months ago, she had been nothing more than a name on a resume. Efficient, sharp, loyal. Now she was his escape, his temptation, his secret. Their eyes met for less than a second. No smile, no movement, but it was enough to send a rush of heat through his chest. Sophie knew the schedule. She would wait 20 minutes, then meet him at the notary's office. They had practiced discretion like a routine. No texts, no calls, only silence and timing. To anyone else, she was his assistant. To Miles, she was the promise of something new. He turned back to Detective Brooks, who was still asking about the night Clara died. His answers were calm, his alibi rehearsed. But somewhere in the background, beneath the mask and the mourning, one thought pulsed louder than the rest. Sophie is worth it. Clara is gone, and everything's finally falling into place. Detective Brooks didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. Her questions were simple, clean, surgical. "You said you were in your study that night, working." Miles nodded, expression steady. "Correct." "No meetings? No calls?" "None. I often work late alone." Clara preferred quiet. Brooks jotted a note. Not a flicker of emotion. "And what time did you hear her collapse?" "Just after 10 p.m., I heard a thud, rushed in, called 911. It was all very sudden." She paused, letting silence stretch too long. "We checked with your office. No login activity from your home computer that night. Miles didn't blink. I was drafting on paper. I prefer it for contracts. I see. She didn't believe him. He could feel it, not in her words, but in her eyes. They weren't curious, they were confirming. Any visitors? Anyone stop by? No. No deliveries? No. No phone calls? He smiled faintly. Detective, is there a reason we're revisiting this? Brooks tilted her head. Just tying up loose ends. Clara was well loved. The department likes to be thorough. She stepped back, closed her notebook. That'll be all for now, but I may reach out again. As she turned to leave, Miles felt the temperature drop, not in the air, but inside him, deep in the chest. She knew, or at least she suspected. And the more she watched him, the more Miles realized he wasn't performing anymore. He was surviving. Miles's Mercedes rolled to a stop outside a beige, windowless building, wedged between a pharmacy and a dentist's office. This was where decades of marriage ended, in signatures and legalese. Sophie was already waiting, her trench coat tight against the breeze. She offered a small nod and they entered together, heels clicking in time. Mr. Terence Cole's office was lined with mahogany bookshelves and smelled faintly of lemon polish and old secrets. He greeted them with a solemn expression and gestured to the leather chairs across from his desk. "We won't keep you long," Cole said, fingers steepled. "Just the reading and any execution clauses." Clara was meticulous. Miles leaned forward, eager but composed. He'd waited weeks for this. Played the role, buried the guilt, told himself over and over, this was the clean break. But then came the pause. The 1-second delay too long to be natural. Cole reached into a drawer and pulled out a sealed envelope. "Before we begin, Clara requested that I show you something." Sophie shifted in her seat. Miles's jaw tensed. Cole continued, "1 month before her death, your wife made a revision to her will, a significant one." The words hit like cold water down the spine. She left a video. Her instructions were clear. It must be played before any assets are distributed. Miles felt the leather beneath him harden. Clara had known. The screen flickered once before Clara's face appeared. Not the polished portrait from the funeral, but a woman stripped of performance. No makeup, no pearls, just a simple navy sweater, eyes tired but sharp. "If you're watching this," she began, "I'm gone. And I know exactly why." Miles froze. Sophie stiffened beside him. Cole said nothing. Clara's voice was steady. "Miles, I loved you. I built a life with you. But I'm not stupid. I saw the missed meetings, the phone calls. I saw her leaving your office when she thought I wasn't home." She turned slightly, gaze sharper now. "This isn't about jealousy. It's about betrayal, of trust, of vows, of decency." She reached for a folder, holding it up to the camera. Inside this are documents reassigning all major assets to a temporary trust, overseen by Detective Dana Brooks. The funds are frozen until a formal inquiry rules out foul play. Sophie let out an audible gasp. Miles didn't breathe. "I may be gone," Clara said, softer now, "but I will not be erased. And I will not let my life's work finance a future built on lies." The screen went black. No one moved. Then Mr. Cole cleared his throat. "As of this moment, Mr. Thatcher, you are entitled to nothing. Pending investigation." Miles didn't respond. He was staring at the screen, at the last place Clara had looked, directly into the camera, directly at him. Miles didn't remember standing, or walking, or how he ended up outside, alone on the sidewalk, as the afternoon sun dipped behind a grey cloud. Sophie hadn't followed. The wind tugged at his collar. Across the street, a city worker dumped trash into a rusted bin. The world moved on. Inside his chest, a void had opened. Not just from loss, but from exposure. He had orchestrated everything. Controlled every glance, every tear, every lie, except hers. Clara had been quiet in life, but in death she had become thunder, and now her silence screamed louder than anything he could say. Miles blinked at the sky, his hands trembling slightly. He was free, but not safe.